Hey indies, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing a get ready with me, but I'm also going to be covering a highly requested question topic video. Okay, one of the most asked questions that I always get is, when did you know it was time for you to quit your job? What is it like being a full-time designer? What did you do before you quit your job? So these are all questions that I'm asked honestly on a daily basis from different designers, different brands. So I do want to just take a minute to discuss that topic because I think it is, one, very important. Two, I think there are a certain amount of things or an array of things that you need to consider when thinking of quitting your daytime job. And just two disclaimers, y'all. I just moved, so my background is a little different. I couldn't find my edge control, so if you see some naps, don't charge it to my heart. Three, I'm kind of gonna be scrambling, going all over the place. I have a few notes, but honestly, I feel so passionate about this topic, so I want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this without me editing out so much of the good stuff. Now, I am going to also be doing my makeup in this video, so you guys, if you are feeling this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I am loving the messages and the feedback that you all are giving me about these type of videos. So I know that they're important, and I know that you guys are watching, you guys are listening. You guys know I am trying to increase my subscriber count. I know that I have good content. So make sure you guys are sharing this with other designers, other aspiring designers, seamstresses, other entrepreneurs who this can help. I know that this is what we need. And so what I am trying to do is just give you guys what I wish someone would have gave me when I was considering quitting, when I was considering going full time, when I started my fashion business. Y'all, we got so much to discuss. If you are looking forward to more of these videos, make sure you share and give me a thumbs up, you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I see so many people watching, but I do not see the subscriber count to match the views. So make sure you guys are subscribing. Hit that notification bell if you guys want to see more from me. Without further ado, let's get into this video. All right, you guys, so I've already primed my face. I've already kind of laid out my eyebrows. However, I do want to make clear that even though this is a get ready with me, I do want to focus more so on the topic. So if I don't mention my products or anything like that, don't charge it to my heart, okay? But I will make sure that I list all the products down below in the description box, okay? So first things first, when it comes to considering going full-time as a designer and quitting your job, is what is your business making? What are you doing weekly, monthly, and for the year? I do believe that you want to at least be making your job's salary in your business before quitting your job. So when I was working for Walmart, I honestly, told myself, well, I am going to try to make my salary before I quit. I wanted to make sure that my business was doing at least $50K a year before I quit. Now, some people say, well, maybe your business should be doing like should be doing like 15,000. I think it is really, at least, like, your business should at least be making 15,000 before you decide to quit. And the reason why I think that is important is because you don't want to quit and go straight into struggling, because that's what most designers do. They'll quit their jobs like, oh, I'm gonna make my vision work for me, blah blah blah, whatever. And while it is okay to be optimistic while you are chasing your dream, you also have to be realistic as far as your bills, and the bills don't stop. That's the thing about this. The bills do not stop. It don't matter. Georgia Power don't care. gas, electric, water. These people do not care that you quit your job and you want to chase your dreams. And please don't be offended by my frankness, but I try to be as real with you guys as possible. You need to make sure your business is making money, period, point blank, before you think about quitting. It is okay to believe in yourself. I believed in me and all those things, but I also knew that at the end of the day, adulting is adulting. And unless you have, a aunt or a mom or some family member, who's willing to assist you while you quit your job, it is not in your best interest to quit your job if your business is just not making money. So that's going to be my first advice to you. These are the questions that I used to ask myself before I quit. Are you doing the work while you have your job? Because there is this really big misconception that once you quit your job, you gonna go real hard. You know what I mean? Like, people really do believe that once they quit their job, they're gonna go hard. And my question is, are you going hard with the job that you have now? If you cannot truthfully answer that, if your answer is not yes, you don't need to quit your job. Because one thing about being full-time is that you have to motivate yourself a lot. You have to put yourself on a schedule. You can't, you'll go from, let's say you worked your job and you have to be to work at 8 o'clock every day. You work 8 to 5 every day. So you get it. You're getting yourself up because you have to be at that job every single day. When you quit, you have to keep that same motivation. You have to keep yourself on a schedule. You have to be disciplined. If I can express nothing else to you, you have to find a way to stay motivated, and you have to find a way to stay disciplined. Because, honey, it gets real, especially staying disciplined and motivated when you're not making any money. You still have to produce. You still have to design. You still have to figure out a way. And so if you can't truthfully answer that question, what are you doing? Are you doing the work now with you having your full-time job? And are you making the money now with you having your full-time job? If you can't say yes to either of those questions, I would not advise quitting your job. I just wouldn't. Because like I said, it gets hard, it gets real. And some of the stuff that I'm saying today, you're going to hear me repeat truthfully throughout this whole entire video, because I really want aspiring designers and new designers to understand that being passionate, having a dream, all of those things, they're great, they're amazing to do and to have, but we still have to be realistic about where we are in our businesses. And I think that there aren't enough people who are realistic about where they are in their business. If you're not even making 10K a year, it is not in your best interest to quit your job. You have to be able to figure it out while you are working, because you'll go from having 4 hours in a day to do the work to 24 hours in a day. And when I say 4 hours, I'm saying if you have a full-time job, if you have children, just all those things, there's not a lot of time. So you're already under a lot of pressure just trying to navigate everyday life. And then you go from quitting your job, you get more time in a day, but a lot of people don't know what to do with that time. So it goes from, if I quit, I know I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then when you quit, you find yourself procrastinating. You find yourself honestly just not doing the work, because now you have so much time, you don't know what it is that you need to be doing in this moment. So that's one, and two other things I would definitely try to consider when thinking about quitting your job. Alright, you guys, so I'm gonna go in with my Juvia's Place palette, and I'm just gonna stay into the neutrals for this because, again, I'm not going nowhere too fancy, but I just want to put on a little makeup and look a little cute. Alright, so another thing that I want to talk about that I briefly discussed was the importance of giving yourself a schedule and staying on schedule. Even though you have more time in a day, you still have to give yourself a schedule to be able to get things done. Because one thing that people don't tell you is that you quitting your job is not just more time for you to sew. You have to think about your operations. You have to think about your business full scale, right? You have to think about your business full scale. You cannot spend all day behind a sewing machine. I don't care what nobody tell you. Do not listen to that, because guess what? If you spend all your time behind a sewing machine, what about social media? What about your website? What about your email listing? What about the time that you need to create or, think of other designs? What about your time to sit down, to be inspired, to get your sketches and things onto paper? Run into the post office, fabric stores. Let me just tell you some of the things that worked for me when I first started. What I would do was I would keep myself on a schedule, right? But I would allot days to do things. So let's say I would do like fabric store on a Monday. So I knew for some reason for me, Mondays was just not a power day for me because I would be coming out of the weekend. And you need to make sure that you take time off, but I'll discuss that a little bit later. But Monday was just the beginning of the week. So what I would do is use my Monday to go to the fabric store. And I knew that when I went to the fabric store, I would be getting fabric for all of my orders that I had in the system. So it would consist of me being out for at least 5 to 6 hours just going from fabric store to fabric store. So what you got to do is give yourself designated times and days to do things. So let's say you go to the fabric store on Monday. Your sewing days are going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? But you're not sewing all day. So let's say if you're gonna work like 12-hour shifts, because let's be real, when you start working for yourself, girl, ain't no more 8 hours, ain't no more I'm doing, until you get your operations in place and you have a system in place. You are the business. And that's another thing that a lot of designers ain't discussing. A lot of us, we are the business. So if we don't work, we don't eat. So this is also why it's important for you to get your schedule and everything situated, because you are the business. So you can't spend all day sewing. You can't spend all day, you can't spend all day behind the machine. It just is what it is. So how are you going to set yourself up for success? How are you going to get yourself to the place or the space that you need to be in to be able to create? Because what happens if you continue to sew, you're going to burn yourself out. And you're going to burn yourself out fast. Okay? I want to be clear. Like, you're going to burn yourself out so fast, and then you'll become one of those people who you can't stand the sight of a sewing machine because you unspent, you quit your job, you went full time, and now you're spending 10 of the 12 hours or 11 of the 12 hours stuck behind the machine. So again, please don't mind me for being frank, but I want to make sure that we are having a very real conversation about this, because these are all things that you really got to think about when you consider quitting your job. And it's not as simple as people make it look. So again, back to what I was saying before. A lot time for sewing days, and you know that the days that you sew, you're not going to pack on your schedule because you know that you need to spend at least 10 hours on your sewing machine to get your customer orders out. All right. Days to go to the post office. So instead of literally going to the post office every single day, I'm going to allot this time, and this time for shipping. All right, you guys. So I'm going to go in with my foundation. This is the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hours. This is a drugstore foundation. And I am using the color Coconut. So one thing I did leave out in the beginning of the video was just about the importance of having some sort of savings, right? Now, when we talk about finances, when it comes to quitting your job, one thing that you have to consider is that, one, you do need a savings, but two, if you do not have a savings, you need some sort of financial support, right? This is also if your business isn't making the money. If your business is making the money and you quit, then you just need to figure out, how to pay yourself, all that good stuff or whatever. But you do need some sort of savings when you think about quitting your job. Another thing that I did was I saved. I used my 401k from my job. I also got a bonus before I quit, which was probably about $2,000, which is not a lot of money because it goes fast. But remember, when I quit, I was already making money in my business. So I wasn't taking a lot of losses. It was more so just keeping the revenue flowing, which I'll try to talk about a little bit later on in the video. But you want to cut back. So I got rid of my cable bill. I kept my internet because I needed it, but I got rid of cable. Just going through changing my phone plan. I changed my phone plan so I could lower my monthly phone bill, because until you have been on your own for a few months, you're going to need to know the best way to navigate your bills until you start making the money. And so the best way to navigate is to cut back. I want to be clear. So you have to kind of let go of your pride, and you need to get rid of things that you don't need. And I wouldn't suggest this, but let's say if you got an alarm system, but you're in a pretty safe neighborhood, even though no neighborhood is 100% safe, get rid of your alarm system, or try to eliminate unnecessary bills. All those subscriptions I had, cut. The only subscriptions that I kept were the subscriptions that I needed to run my business. QuickBooks, little stuff like that. Those are the things that you want to keep in mind when you think about going full-time. How can you cut back on bills where even if you don't make your sales goals for the end of the month, you still have money in your pocket? You still are able to take care of your bills. You have to be able to meet your basic needs, you guys. Basic needs. The next thing I want you to factor in when you're thinking about considering quitting your job is, when business is slow, what are you going to do? Something a lot of people don't factor in. And I want to be clear, quitting your job during prom season, that's well and good. But prom season does not last all year. And I want to point that out because I know a lot of us participate in prom season. I do myself. However, being realistic, especially if you have business overhead, like let's say you have your own suite, your own shop, anything like that, or you have employees, prom season is great, but it definitely is not. You don't make a lot of money as much. You don't profit a lot of money during prom season. At least I didn't. Because I just had so many bills. So what are you going to do when you need to make money outside of prom season? Because there is 4 quarters in a year, okay? 4 quarters in a year. Prom season is typically the first quarter. That's January, February, March. I mean, if you start doing holiday season or whatever, yeah, but it only lasts half a year. So what are you going to do to make money when your business is slow? Some of the things that I do outside of specialty, prom, things like that, I actually have a ready-to-wear brand, and I produce collections 3 to 4 times a year. I also participate in vending events, expos, things like that. You know, you have to figure out ways to make money, because sometimes all the sales just won't be coming from your website. You're gonna have those slow periods, all of those things. So you got to find other ways to make money. You know, and sometimes it may not come from your craft, like you actually selling clothes. So what other ways can you make money? Let's say you start offering sewing classes, you know, start dabbling into infopreneurship, teaching and training folks. And don't get me wrong, teaching is definitely a gift. I think everybody has the ability to teach, but I think you have to be passionate about what you are teaching to people, and not just doing stuff, you know, to kind of get rich quick or whatever, because you do want to scale your business up, but you also got to, excuse me y'all, that's so ghetto. Girl, I'm being so ghetto on this video, but these are things that you really have to factor in. Just having a game plan, because the game plan is all across the board. I'm serious, you guys. It's all across the board. There are so many factors to running a business that people are not discussing. Okay, you guys, I'm so sorry. So I was cut off while I was babbling on. However, what I was saying was that there's so many things that you have to factor when deciding to go full time, because when our customers and stuff write us, our customers, our fans, our family members, everybody who believes in us, they are writing us or supporting us with one perspective in mind. We are making it, we are about to make it, or we have already made it. You have to keep in mind that, and I'm trying to find the best way to word this, but you have to keep in mind that that is only one perspective of what it is that we do. And there are so many variables to consider when considering going full time and when considering quitting your job. And everybody is going to support you and, you know, give you the go ahead, because, you know, you want to make sure that what you're doing is the right thing for you. So of course people are going to be supportive, like, girl, yes, girl, go ahead, quit your job, you know, this is your calling and all that kind of stuff, and we want this to be our calling. However, it's just things that we have to realistically consider, and that's why my message is my message. Anybody can do this. I do believe that. I do believe, because sewing is a skill, okay? Designing, however, is a gift to me. My opinion, not anybody else's. Designing is a gift. Sewing is a skill. So anybody can be taught to sew. But designing, I truly think that you have to have it within you in order to truly succeed at designing. When you are thinking about quitting, a lot of mistakes that I think aspiring entrepreneurs make is, well, you know, I'm just gonna make X, Y, and Z quickly. And then what happens is you fall into the line of fast fashion. You end up losing sight of why you started this in the beginning, because when you are low on funds, you tend to make irrational decisions to get money quickly. And this is why we're talking a lot about the money when it comes to quitting your job. You tend to make a lot of quick decisions to try to get money to replace what you've lost because you've quit your job prematurely. So one thing I really want you guys to jot down, this is what a model told me when I first began. I'll never forget it. Her name is Crystal Nicole. She's dope as hell. Amazing plus size model. She's doing other things now, but she said, do not release things prematurely. So I'm saying that to say, when you are needing money to do your gift, you tend to make premature decisions with trying to make money, which is like now converting yourself to fast fashion. Because at this point, it's like, I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do what I gotta do because I need money. And you start to lose sight of your brand and why you started to do what you started to do in the beginning, your aesthetic. All of those things are important with you having longevity. And so you can't make short-term decisions when you are trying to have longevity with your fashion brand and your business. You know, you start just producing collections just to produce collections, but they don't even make sense. They're not cohesive. You start doing Fashion Nova type things, and there's nothing wrong with Fashion Nova at all. You know, get your money, sis. But you start to do like Fashion Nova type things because you need money. And the gift and the curse with that is, one, your sales are going to be affected because now you're starting to sell things for $50 and $60 and $75. And then when you actually come out with a good collection that is more than that, you're looking for your customers to pay the price that you want to pay, you know, the $250 for a jacket, or, you know, the $300 for a dress, $400, $500, and they're not going to pay that because you've been selling things at a small discounted price because you just need to make money, and you need to make money fast. So one last thing I do want to talk about when it comes to being a full-time entrepreneur, quitting your day job to go into full-time designing, is staying motivated. When you decide to quit your job and you go full-time, you are going to be by yourself a lot. And one of the hardest things that I see people struggling with is procrastination and staying motivated. You have to find a way to stay motivated now. You do. Hopefully your gift is going to motivate you. But guess what? The reality of it is you can be doing what you love and hate what you're doing. Okay? And I think that there is a big misconception that, you know, once you go full-time in your business and in your craft, that you're just gonna love your job because I'm doing what I love. And, you know, and I'm laughing. I'm saying it like that because I love talking to new entrepreneurs, new designers, people who are considering going full-time, you know, and they say, you know, I love my job. I love my job too. But there are days when I get up and I'm designing and I'm just like, over it. But me being over it doesn't mean that I'm hate what I'm doing. It could just be that I'm burnt out with the process, because at the end of the day, it's about scaling up. And so what you're doing right now will more than likely not work for you a year later, honestly, because things that are repetitive begin to get boring. And that's the reality that I think we should discuss more, honestly. You know, a lot of people are not being real about what it's like working full time. Y'all, I love designing. I really do. I enjoy what I'm doing, but it gets boring. It can get boring, especially when you're doing the same thing over and over. Literally over and over. My goal with my channel is to keep it 100. I want to keep it really honest with you guys about this process. So this is the thing about entrepreneurship and being a full-time designer. There are so many variables, as I've previously mentioned earlier in the video. There are so many variables that you have to consider. There are so many moving parts, and a lot of people are not telling you guys the hard part of entrepreneurship. Most times you don't hear about the struggle until they have triumphed, right? You know, you're not hearing about the hard part, you know, the hardest parts of what we do every single day. And I do not want you guys to quit your job prematurely without considering your finances, savings, business sales, not just the sales, but profit, because you want to be able to pay yourself. Are you even able to pay yourself? Another thing is mixing the funds. I forgot to talk about that earlier in the video, but when you do go full time, it is so important not to mix your funds. But a lot of people are doing that, but they ain't telling you that, but they are. Their funds are so intertwined together because there's no breathing room. You know, as soon as they make a sale, that sale has to go to a bill, or that sale has to, you know, it has to accommodate something, some type of expense. So these are things that people aren't discussing. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of things to consider when thinking about doing something so major like this, because it is a life change. And even just down to having a support system, you know, everybody's rooting for you, you know, in the beginning of your process, but when the process starts to get hard, do you have that same support that you start with? And then another thing, everybody can't go with you. So when you actually start to come up in this world, everybody can go. But who was there for you when you were down to your last dollar? Something you guys have to consider too is that at the end of the day, this is your dream. This is your vision, and nobody else is responsible for making your dream and your vision come to life. Nobody. So what tends to happen when you do go on this journey is that it is a very lonely journey. You're going to find yourself by yourself most of the time, and especially when you got things to do. You can't go out with your friends the way you used to go out with your friends, because at this point you probably are the business like most designers, and you got to make it happen. And so, you know, there are so many opportunities that I've had to pass on, so many outings, so many family functions. Even as an entrepreneur, you know, you get some time back, but you lose a lot to get that time, because at this point you're trying to make your dream happen. You're trying to find your success. You're trying to create, you know, longevity for your business. So you end up losing so much time with so many people, places, and things because you gotta work. And so it's a very lonely road. But this video is not to discourage you. I want to be clear, it's not. This video is to provide a realistic perspective from someone who is in fact full-time and has been full-time for the last 4 years, August the 16th. But for the last 4 years, I've been full-time for the last 4 years, and I've gone through so many different processes and layers to get to where I am. And where you guys are seeing it, it's like, oh my God, girl, you inspire me. I want to be like you, but I want you to be better than me. I want you to not make some of the mistakes that I made. I want you to be your best self, And so I am going to have a part 2 to this video after I go back and watch it and just see all the things that I did discuss, because I do think there are some things that I'm leaving out. However, I've been asked this question so many times, I just felt compelled to do it today. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, I want you to be great. I want you to be amazing designers, but I also want you to be realistic about your situation and set realistic goals that will help you to reach your next best level, because that's what this journey is about. Entrepreneurship is hard as hell, but it is such an amazing journey. You are going to learn so much about yourself, and that's why it's important. And if you're not afraid of hard work, because that's what this is about. It's about the hard work, and it's about doing the work, but not doing the work when the getting is good, but doing the work when it is also tough. So thank you guys again so much for watching this video. Again, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and as always, stay happy, stay hungry, and stay blessed. Until next time, peace. Bye.